So we have seen many array methods, right? So we'll start with the method push, right? So what is the purpose of this push method? The purpose of this push method to add the element at the end of the array. Let's for example, let's say if I define array like this, okay, and I have few elements inside the array. Let's say Chinmay, then I have Shirish, then I have Ram, then I have Sham. And if I want to add the element at the last of array, push is the method. So if I say names dot push, and if I add an element to it, let's say I say Shraddha. If I print the array again or console.log the array again, I will be getting same at the end of the array. Okay. So if I run the file, how will I run? I will run node 19.js, node script 19.js. So we'll see the array. If you want to add something at the start of the array, the method is shift. So unshift to basically add the element at the start of the array. Let's say for example, I define another array with the fruits. I say apple, mango, mango, banana. And if I want to add element at the start of the array, the method will be unshift. So if I say fruits dot unshift, and if I say chiku, and if I just print the array again, I will be getting element added at the start of the array. So if I print this, it will be, if I
Unship.
print unshift, right? So if I print this again, I will be having it here. Okay, this is the second. There's another method which removes the element from the end of the array. The method is pop. I will define another array for this. Cities. I will have Pune, Bangalore, Bangalore, Kolkata. If I say cities.pop, last element of the array will be removed. If I just print the array again, let's say with cities, if I run this, I will say the last element, save the file, and again print this, the last element is removed. If you want to remove the first element, then the method is shift. So if you just say cities dot shift, then the first element will be removed. So if I say console.log cities, now you'll see the first element Pune will be gone. These are the four methods. The first is basically push to add the element at the last, unshift to add the element at the first, pop to basically remove the last element, shift to remove the first element. For the push method, the return type is new length. It will return you the new length of array. Similarly, unshift also return returns returns new length. So unshift also returns new length. Pop removes last element and return same, and shift removes the first element, and return and return same. After this, let's say we will see the map method. If you want to add the element and if you want to work with every element of array, let's say for example, I define an array where I'm defining birth year and I have few years with me, 1989, 1989, 1990, 1991, 1992. And if you want to calculate the age for everyone, right? Let's say for example, I want here to be 2003, it to be 34, sorry, 33, then 32, and then 31. To basically achieve this array, I want to subtract current year with every element of this array. How can I achieve this? I can achieve this with the map method. So this is map dot birth year dot map. There will be a callback function. This callback function will have the current element, array, index, and array as element as parameters. And I have to basically subtract effort. So this callback function will run with every element of array. This callback function will run with every element of array. So it will run with 1989, 1990, 1991, 1992. So when this function runs with the first element of array, it will be 1989. So it will return you a value which is 2023 minus 1989, which will be which will be going into the new array. So I'm storing everything into Q1. If we just simply print Q1, every element of the array is subtracted with 2023 and that value is basically going into new array. So if I say Q1 and if you run this, you will get the same output. So it should not be hard coded. Here it should be EL. So first time when the function will run, the value of EL will be 1989. Second time it will be 1990. Third time it will be 1991 and fourth time it will be 1992. So this function will return every time the value which is 2023 minus CL and those value will be going into new array which is Q1. If you run this, you will get the age of the people. There is a method which is called as filter. It does not work with every element of array, but it filter out the elements of array based on certain condition. For example, let's say I have a marks filter. Marks filter has few values 77, 66, 33, 55, 88, 99. Okay, these are the values. I just only want elements which are greater than 70. So based on certain condition, I want to filter out only from these elements of array. So let's say I want here is 70, 7, then 88, and then 99. So to achieve this, I can use the marks filter. So marks dot filter callback function. Here is element index array only. But now for we are using only what you say EL. From here I want to return the value which is marks, which is EL greater than 50 or greater than 70. Only those elements for which this condition is true will be going into the new element of array, which is let's say Q2. I store it in Q2. Now if you just print it, simply you come here and print console.log Q2. If you run this, you will see clearly only those elements for which this condition is true are going into the Q2, right? So it will be 77, 88, 99. So just to filter out the element of array based on certain condition, we'll be using filter method. Then there is another method called as reduce, which basically solves everything into one expression. Let's say I have array and that array is basically having certain numbers. Let's say 11, 22, 33. Now if I want to just add this element of array and bring it to what you say 66, how can I achieve this? So you can do it like this, nums. So method belongs to the array, so I will call it on array. So it's a nums dot reduce. Then you have basically the callback function. Then you have el, index, and array. The second parameter will be the default value for accumulator, which is 0. So this 0 value is set to accumulator, then EL index, sorry. So accumulator, this default value is set to accumulator, which is 0, which I am passing as a second parameter to the callback function. From here, what I need to do, I just need to update the value of accumulator with EL. So EL accumulator plus EL. When the function is called for the first time, the value of accumulator, which we set to default to 0, will be added to the first element of the array, which is 11. So the output will be 11. Next time, what it will be, already the value of accumulator is 11. 11 is added to 22, the output will be 33. Next time, 33 is added to 33 and the output will be 66. So this will be the the latest value of accumulator, which will be getting into one variable. Let's say that variable is Q3. If I store it here and if I print it again, so value of Q3 will be 66. So if you run this, it's 66. Clear? So the next method will be for each. Okay. This for each method will not return you anything. Okay. I'm just defining one method for each. It will not return you anything. So let's say, for example, I say for let I equal to 0, or let's say first define one array with, let's say, cities 2, I say, or cities 1, or I will mention few cities here: Nagpur, Wardha, or Chennai. And I just need to add welcome to this, right? So how will I do this? Just add welcome in front of this. So how will I do this? I will say cities1 dot for each callback function al index array, and here I will be just printing out the value. It does not return me anything. So I will just say welcome plus EL. So this is the output I'm expecting. I'm expecting each element of the array, which are cities name, should be prepend with welcome. Like, so if you just save this and run this, you will say welcome Nagpur, welcome Varda, and welcome Chennai. I say EL, and it should be EL here, not E1. If I rerun this again, I will be getting the same. Yeah. So these four methods. Similar to these four methods are the next four methods. In terms of syntax, the first method is find. For example, if let's say I have numbers and I have numbers B, let's say, I will call it as numbers B, and I have few numbers here. I say 12, 45, 66, 88, 99, 55. And again, I say 33. Now what I need to do here, I need to again, so what is next step here? I just want to find all the elements which are greater than 60. So if I want to find all the elements which are greater than 60, the output should be 66, 88, 99. These three elements are greater than 60. So how will you achieve this? Using the filter method. So what you can do, simply you can say numbers dot filter, then you have the callback function el index array, and what you should be returning from here, return el greater than 60. So all the elements greater than 60 will be received into one array above 60. So if I store it here, console.log above 60, save and run. So I'll be getting all the elements above 60. Yeah. But if I just want to find the first element out of this, which is above 60, coming from the left side, it will be 66. So the method will be find. When I say numbers dot find, basically use the first reference for the element where this condition is true, starting from the left hand. So if I say numbers b dot find callback function el, here I will say return the first element which is greater than 60. It will return me only one element which I will store it in, let's say above 60, first first element, let's say. If you print it now, 100% you will be getting the value 66, because 66 is the first value which is above 60, calculating from the left hand side. So if I save this, it will be 66. If I just want to find the index of it, then the method is find index. So here the method is find. If I want to find the index of the element for which this condition will be true for the first time, for the first occurrence, then the method is find index. I will just simply copy paste this and I will say find index and I will say I here. So now this will give me the value for the index where this condition is true. Which condition? Where the EL is greater than 60. If you look at the array where the value is greater than 60, so it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6. So 66 is at index position 2. So output for this above 60 FEI will be 2. So if you run this, it will be 2. There are two more methods with similar syntax. One is basically every and one is basically sum. Both the methods returns a boolean value. Let's say for example, I have a array. I have a numbers array. I have a numbers array. And this boolean value, this every method which returns a boolean value will return true only if only if every element of this particular array has that condition to be true. For example, let's say if I just ask you one simple question, all the elements of this array are above 10, the answer would be yes, right? So if all the elements satisfied the condition that they are above 10, then only then this method, every method will return me the true value. Let's say for example, I will say numbers dot every, there will be a callback function here el, and here I want to return whether the el is greater than 10. If every element of this array has the value true for this expression, then only then the every method will return me true value. So if I store it into a variable, let's say above 10 all, then I will be getting the output as true in this case because all the elements are above 10. So if I save this and if I run this again, yeah, you will clearly see all the elements are above 10. That's why the output is true. If I just make it one element less than 10, then the output will be false. But vice versa, for the sum method, if any one of the elements satisfy the condition, then the sum method will return me true. If none of the elements of the array satisfy that condition, then the output will be false. So let's quickly see this also. So for this only I will check whether the numbers dot sum callback function. We have el here, and we say el here will only return the value of any one of the element from array. So just give me 1 minute. So we'll just write callback function. Okay, so we'll write callback function like this. So el, any one element is greater than, let's say greater than, user will say greater than 100. If any one element is greater than 100, then this element will return me true. If you say in numbers none of the element is greater than 100, so the output for this will be false. Above 100, all above 101. So output for this will be false. If you print this console.log above 100, the output will be false here. If you run this, You can clearly see the output is false here, right? But if you make it greater than 10, so many are there, but if you make it greater than 70, like 70 also, one element is there or two elements are there which are greater than 70, so this sum metal will return me true now. If you just run this, it is true now. So these are the very similar 8 methods. Okay. Apart from this, there are many methods. Let's say, for example, there is a concat method. Concat method basically joins two array. Let's say I define one array and I say numbers A, and here it will be 11, 22, 33. And I let's say numbers, number BB, and here it is 44, 55, and 66. And if I want to add this both, so how will I add? I will say numbers A dot concat number B. Now if you add this both, it will return me. It will return me what? It will return me one array. Let's say combine array, and I call that numbers CC. And if you just run this console.log number CC, save, and if you run this, you will get it. You will get the combine array result, right? And the return type of this is also array. There is one method called as join method, which will join every element of array and return one string. Let's say, for example, I have one info string, and the info string basically has 3 elements. And if I want to just add all the elements of this, right? If I just want to add all elements of this array, I will call on the info method. So I will say info.join, and let's say I'm joining it on the dash. If I store it in a variable, let's say A, it returns me a string, right? So I store it in a variable A, and if I say just console.log A, what I will be getting here, if I store it and if I run this, I will be getting a string where every element of this array is basically joined with dash. If I say at the rate, then every element of the array will be joined with at the rate, return type will be string only. If I say space, every element of array will be joined with the space. Clear? Okay. So there is another method which is basically index of method. The index of method, let's say for example, I have defined one array, let's say flowers array. Along with this flowers array, I have defined a few elements, let's say rose, lily, jasmine, and lotus. And if I just want to find the index of jasmine, if I just want to find the index of, let's say jasmine, so I will be saying flowers dot index of what? Index of jasmine. So it will return me a value which I will store into one variable. Let's say I store it into index of j. Index of j. So because it's a case sensitive language, but still there is jasmine available with the same case, the output of index of j will be true. So if I just console.log this, console.log index of j, so I will find that output to be true. So if I run this node script 19.js, and I will get the index which is 2 because jasmine at index 2. Let's say if you try to find something which is not there, right? So I will say capital J. So there is no jasmine with capital J. So this method will return you -1. And this is the case with most of the programming language, it returns -1. And these are inbuilt methods. So return type is decided by the person who has written it, right? So if I run this now, it will be -1 because there is no element starting with J in this complete list. Okay, let's move ahead. And there is a method which is, let's sort. I'm only telling this sort method again with alphabets only. So let's say I have few cities defined with me. So I'll make the cities 3 array. Okay, cities 3 array. And I have many cities over here. Let's say I have Chennai, Bangalore, Varda, Nagpur. And if I want to sort this alphabetically, I can call cities.sort method. So cities.sort method will do what? It will sort it alphabetically. If you print it again, if you say console.log and if you say cities, and if you run this again, so you will see now Bangalore, then Chennai, then Nagpur, and then Varda. Okay, if you save and run this again, see Bangalore, Chennai, Nagpur, Varda. I'll sort it alphabetically. But let's say if you want to sort it in a reverse order, right? So you sort it alphabetically first, and then there is a method which is reverse method. Let's say this reverse method. What is the use of this reverse method? This reverse method will reverse the array, all the elements of the array. So Nagpur will be, sorry, once we are already done with the sorting, right? So then Vardha will come first, Nagpur will come next, Chennai will come next, and then Bangalore. So if I just reverse it, so I will say cities dot reverse. And what we need to reverse? We need to reverse the array. So reverse is the method. If you print the array again, first after the sorting, we are having this result, right? So our current array will have this order. But if I reverse it, then I will be getting, if I just print it again, so I will be getting Vardha, then Nagpur, then Chennai, and then Bangalore. So if you right click and run this again, so again, print, it should not be print, it should be console.log. If you save, if you run, then it will be Bangalore, Nagpur, Chennai, and sorry, Vardha, Nagpur, Chennai, and Bangalore. Reverse order. So this is the reverse method. Okay. Then you have slice method. Slice method, which basically is used to basically cut down the array into a smaller portion, right? And slice method comes up with the syntax. It comes with the start index, if you had the start index, and also the end index, but end index value will not be included. Yeah, not included. Let's say I start with one array and I say arrays to be like countries array and countries array. Let's say have India, Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, and Japan. And this array has the list. So here it will be 0, it will be 1, it will be 2, it will be 3, it will be 4. And for this particular method, which is slice method, we can also have the negative index. So it is -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So slice method, basically we call it on this array because it method belongs to array. So I will call the slice method. And to the slice method, I am basically passing start index and end index. Let's say I pass the start index as, I only pass the start index, let's say 1. So it will give me every element starting from 1. So it will give me Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, and Japan. Okay. So I just print it console.log. So this will print me Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, and Japan. Now let's say if I copy paste it again, and if I this time I have give the index end value also, let's say 1 to 5. So it will basically start from 1 and till 5 it will go. There is no 5. So output will be Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, and Japan. If I basically do it like this, I say first value to be -5 and second value to be 4, that it will start with -5. It will go till 4 but will not include 4. So output will be India, Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka. I can have one more combination where I start with positive and end at negative. Let's say, for example, I start with +1 and end at -1. So it will start with 1 and it will go till -1, will not include -1. So output will be Pakistan, China, and Sri Lanka. So end value is not included. Let's say if I just have a negative value, so it will basically give me the output for starting from there. Let's say I have -4. So it will start with -4. Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, Japan. If I save this and run this, it will be Pakistan, China, Sri Lanka, and Japan. Let's say if I deliberately put the start index, end index behind start index by doing this, let's say -1 and -3. So start index is behind end index. Sorry, end index is behind start index. In the such cases, it will return with a blank array. So if you run this, it will be a blank array. So this is the slice method. Then there is a splice method also. Okay. So what is the purpose of this splice method? If you want to remove the first element, you have the pop method. If you want to remove the unshift method. If you want to remove the last element, you have pop method. But what about the slice method? This splice method removes the element from any index, right? It can basically remove the element from any index. So I simply just copy pasted this, or I will simply run on this only. Okay. So I want to basically remove China. So I will be writing somewhat like this: country dot splice. And from first index, or let's say from second index, how many elements I want to remove? I want to remove the one element. So from second index, which is China only, it will remove the one element which is China only. Okay. So if you just print the countries array again, so if you go here and if you just print the countries array again, if you save and if you run this, then you'll be getting China is removed, right? So this is Spice first parameter is the start index. Spice second parameter is the number of elements to be deleted. Number of elements to be deleted. Okay. Let's say, for example, I will take another example. I will say from index 3, from index, let's say 1, remove two elements. So from index 1, it will remove two elements. So Pakistan, China will be removed. If you run this, Pakistan and China are removed. But at the same time, we can use the replacements also for this. So you can say replacement 1 and replacement 2. You know, RPL1 and RPL2. So from here, let's say you have these countries dot splice replacement one, let's say will be USA, UK, and then this let's second will be USA. So what is happening here? From the first index, two elements are getting deleted, which will be Pakistan, China, and will be replaced with UK and USA. So if you run this again, you will see Pakistan and China will be replaced with UK and USA. So this was all about splice method. Okay. Then there is a flat method. Okay. Which, so if you basically have gone through this, right? So if you have the multidimensional array, let's say I will quickly create a multidimensional array where I will say states and for, and it's a multidimensional array. So first here I will be having one array inside array, second array inside array, and third array inside array, right? And let's say here if I have Nagpur and Pune as city from Maharashtra, so let's say Wardha or Pune. Second from Jaipur, let's from Rajasthan, let's say I have Jaipur and I have Udaipur. And from, let's say from MP, I have Indore and Bhopal. Now I know there is array inside the array, and if I want to retrieve Bhopal, how will I retrieve? So this is at 0 index. If you understand this, this is for the rows, this is at 0 index, right? This is for the states, the first element, which is at 0 index, is another array, right? Which is Nagpur Pune. This is at first index, and this is at second index. So let's say, for example, states of 0. States of 0, if you do states of 0, you'll be getting this complete array. But if you do if you do states of states of 0, if you do like this, states of 0 of 0, states of 0 of 0 will give you basically the first value, which is Nagpur. So if you run this, you'll get Nagpur. Save the file and run. So you will be getting Nagpur here. If you basically do states of 0 of 1, you will be getting. So this is first element, and you are getting first. You try to retrieve the first element from that array, so it will be Udaipur. So I will again rewrite it. So 1 of 1 will be Udaipur, and 2 of 1 will be Bhopal. 2 of 1 will be Bhopal. 2 of 1 will be Bhopal. It has nothing to do with what you say, the flat method. The flat method, what it does, it basically removes this internal array, and every element will be into one single array only. If you say states, and you say dot flat, then I will be getting one single array where I will saying all cities. All cities. I can store it into one variable, which will be again array, but internally removed, and all the elements will be going into one single array. So if I say console.log all cities, if I save this, if I run this, all the elements will do into one single array. So this is again which method? Flat method. So you have at method also. So you, let's say add method. I have defined, let's say, animals, array of animals. I have here is basically tiger, let's say tiger, lion, rabbit, snake. And if I want to find something at index 1, or I can basically also pass the negative index to this method also. So this is at 0, this is at 1, this is at 2, and this is at 3. Again, if you basically come from negative index, it will be basically 1, it will basically 2, it will basically 3, it is basically 4. And now let's say, for example, if you do console.log, and if you say animals of, let's say, animals at index, and let's say you pass the index value. Find the index value as 2. If you run this, you will get the rabbit, right? You can also pass the negative index to this method. Let's say if you pass -3, I am hoping you will get lion. So if you print this, you will get the lion. So again, method is basically similar to how you retrieve the element from the array using the square brackets, but this method also takes the negative index also. And last but not the least, the method is fill. So what is the purpose of this fill method? Let's say I have array where I have few marks of students, and I just need to consider the first 5 values. Apart from the 5 values, I have to mark everyone as undefined. So what I will say marks dot fill. What I need to fill? I need to fill undefined. So undefined is the keyword. Data type basically. Undefined where, from where? Starting from index 3. So starting from index 3, let's say for example, this is at index 0, this is at index 1, this is at index 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So starting from index 3 means from 55, every element will be filled with undefined value. So if you basically print the array again, and if you print it with console.log mks, if you save this and if you run this again, every element will be filled with undefined from starting from the third element. If I say third to 7, so starting from third till 7, starting from third till 7, but it will not include 7. So 55, 66, 77, and 22 will be filled with undefined, and rest of the elements will be same. So from index, so you have to comment this. So if you run this again, from index 3 to 7, it is filled with undefined. There are many more methods also, but we almost cover. Okay, we forgot includes, right? So includes is the method if basically we try to search for an element, right? If that element is found, right? Let's say for example, I am trying to find 33 into this array, right? MKS, and I will find MKS there, right? If I find MKS there, if I find in MKS, if I find 33, this method will return me what? Boolean true value. So if I say let and I say Q1 or Q1111, then the value of the Q11 will be true because there is an element with 33 as number inside the list MKS. So if I save this, if I run this, I will be getting the true value. But if I basically have something which is not there, which is 333, the output is in this case will be false.